Hi everybody, I'm Adrian Darin, chiropractor here in Eindhoven, the Netherlands. So I'm in my office. Well, no, it's not my office, but where I work as a chiropractor. And yeah, there's nobody today scheduled, so I'm in the office anyway, just to gather my mind together and be ready for the next couple of days and probably a couple of weeks. So what I want to talk about is possible consequences beyond what beyond what we are seeing now of that virus. And so I want to start by a couple of examples of diseases that we know recently, very recently, and we know, and it's very known now, that gut health and gut microbiota is very influential on how you feel, how you mentally feel, how you emotionally feel, and your energy ups and downs. And not only in how you digest, how your allergies, how physical pain, muscle pain, joint pain, etc. goes way beyond that. And for example, I'm doing an anti-candida diet right now for, it's been 1 week, 2 weeks maybe, and not because I did the actual blood test and physiological test for candida, but I did a test on internet that gives a probability, and for me the probability was very high actually to have candida. So what is candida? Is actually, a candida is it's not a pathogen in its origin, because our gut flora is actually is like a society. There's the sort of different roles, and there is a harmony, bringing it all together and tightening it all together, so that there is a balance in here. And so candida in a healthy gut microbiota is actually very beneficial to us. And it's in a form of, if I'm not mistaken, form of yeast. Okay, what happens is when there's a disbalance, an imbalance in this gut society, then there's the candida yeast form gets mixed with fungi, if I'm not mistaken. And I might mess up with the terms because I saw it in French and speaking Spanish, and it's like a bit of a mess in my mind right now with languages. So sorry for messing up with the terms if that happens in advance. So the yeast becomes like mutates into fungi, and then grows, and then becomes pathogenic, and then becomes a parasite. So it takes advantage of us without us receiving any benefit. Okay, so a parasite is actually a behavior. This is not a particular being or animal or microscopic unicellular being or even humans. It's a behavior that we all have at some point. So what happens is that candida is actually healthy and beneficial for us, becomes a parasite and take advantage of us. And what happens is then there is more cravings, sugar cravings mostly. So sugar addiction also, weight gains, fat, body fat gains, lower testosterone, decreased concentration, decreased sleep quality sleep, decreased emotional balance, emotional wreck, energy, lowered energy. So you might have one day super good per week, and the rest of the week is you just don't want to do anything. So it increased the procrastination. It increases the binge watching, binge eating, whatever. Okay, so you see how it goes. It goes to depression, goes to burnout, goes to because you can't function well at work, at home, with your family, with your friends. So you get isolated by yourself because you have no energy to go out, basically, slowly. So that's a candida, but it's also been known, less known, but it's been seen that actually Parkinson and Alzheimer disease are seen as type 3 diabetes. I repeat, type 3 diabetes. So it means it's insulin problem for them at least. But it's very interesting. It's not only physical tremor or loss in memory. It's a insulin problem and glycemic management in your body. So and type 1 and type 2 diabetes are also insulin problem, but there is also pathogens, microscopical pathogens related to those type 1, type 2, type 3 diabetes. But it's also very known for cancer. That is actually your gut flora is completely messed up and very, very oriented towards parasites and fungi and all the rotten thing that you can see actually in a bin, for example. In a bin that is full and been there full for 2 weeks, and it's going to smell bad. And actually, people with those diseases are smell differently. Yeah, okay, you'll notice. There is rats in the bin. I'm not saying there's rats in us, but there's rats in the bin. Comes in the bin. There's other animals, bugs, etc. And if you kill the bugs, if you kill the rats, but leave the bin full, then you're actually only killing bugs and killing rats. You're not solving the problem. So what you have to do is clean up the bin. So what happens in those for those chronic diseases like cancer, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer, Parkinson, diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome, even more severe mental diseases. Like I'm not saying it's the real only cause, but it can be. If it's not a cause, then it has a big influence on it. Is bipolar syndrome, anxiety disorder, schizophrenia, paranoia, etc. Yeah, can have big influence on it. So, with that said, the coronavirus, what other consequences it can bring, will bring, right? Because now we're seeing like the panic, but there's a bit more panic generated by media. If it's wrong or right or wrong, but we can see it in the panic. We can see it on the how much you cough, well, not well, you breathe, fever, and other symptoms you can have from any infection, actually. From the flu, it can be also joint pain, axilla, like aching. Yeah, it can be like lightheaded, stuff like that. But what about the other mental consequences can bring? The other toxins can bring, the other types of vaccines going to bring, or might already bring, the other digestive issues it can bring, what other allergies or intolerances it can bring. uh, yeah, what other emotional thing it can bring, but also what other opportunities it can bring, what lesson we can bring from that. And one thing it can bring is, again, saying that's something that came up in my mind when at some point I was triggered, really triggered. It's been like a year or so. I have not been triggered that intensely because of something, but was someone telling me, yeah, you in a health profession, you should watch the news. In my mind, I was no way, I'm watching the news. I don't need the news to know what's happening, because I'm seeing it everywhere. So I don't need more info. And I choose not to watch the news for my own mental health, my own emotional health, because I owe that at least to the people I'm serving and to myself. And that doesn't mean I'm not informed. So what and so what brought me is to, oh yeah, that thing of obligation of having to do something, because society says it's the best thing to do, because I've committed once to whatever, to promise, or even to have a meeting with someone, and then the next day I say no. Next day it's like, no, actually I changed my mind. And that is that thing that triggered me, actually. And individually, yeah, I was, yeah, I mean, even if it's not aligned anymore, if that commitment is not aligned with me anymore, yeah, I'm still gonna fulfill it. And actually brought me to say no. If I it's not aligned with me anymore, the next day, imagine what a commitment you did last year is, year before, 10 years before, uh, that was aligned that moment, but not is not anymore. What can brought you, right? And yeah, we all can invent an excuse, like a headache, to not go see someone because, yeah, we don't want it anymore, but we feel guilty and to not go, so we invented an excuse and manifest a headache to not see that person, so that we don't face with the shame and guilt of having changed our mind, right, about that. So that being said, is and yeah, so I was going in my own trigger that brought me to the image of that coronavirus being kind of the same thing for humanity in general, is what commitment did we do at some point, and that we are not aligned with it anymore. But we're still afraid to acknowledge it. We're still afraid to acknowledge that as a collective, to having changed our mind, and that is not aligned with us anymore, with the need, with our individual and collective needs, and the need of the planet. What did we do? What did we commit to as a species that is not serving us anymore? So I'm gonna end on that. And last thing I want to say is I'm a chiropractor, so I work with the people physically, but I kept that to friends and family, mostly close friends and family. I actually do remote healing also for past 10 years. Now I'm in a group that we gather together by Zoom call, and we do a collective remote session all together once a week. And so I'm offering the same service daily, actually. Collectively, I'm offering it for free collectively. And if you want an individual session, then I'm charging 40 euros for that. The difference in collective session is actually the collective is taken as a individual in itself. So all the priorities is actually priority of the group that come out, and the individually means it's specifically for that individual. And because of a group, then it's one session. I give whatever the time it needs to be given to that group. For me, it's free. And if you want an individual more specific, then it's 40 euros. And yeah, so that's what I'm saying is I'm going to post that on Facebook and on Instagram. So follow me on Facebook if you want, on Adrien Laraine on Facebook, and Instagram is Adrien Laraine .chiropractico. And yeah, follow me on that. And if you want to be part of the collective session, remote healing session, and just put your name and surname on the comments. And if you want a private session, individual session, then send me a private message, Facebook or Instagram. Yeah. Hope that helps. The intent of these videos really to open your mind and whatever you do with that information is good. It's okay. I'm not. I will love you anyway. Yeah. So love you. Sending you all the love and brilliant health for you and your loved ones.